你说什么？
觉得要升得高一点，这样的话脑袋就不会看到一片。
哦，没关系，没关系，谢谢你。
你看那个，他升得那么高。
我等会把镜一拉近，他就看不见了。这个是谁？那个我们对，我们老邓的。
你让他过来坐吧，让他过来坐，我自己才能走。然后
Yes。
哎，
你好，是呀，你都没有坐的地方了呀。
没事，我就跟你 say hello。
哎，还有谁要坐吗？你让那个希姐过来坐。
我算了，我跟冬梅说了。
哦，冬梅啊。
你过来，我出去。
他让你坐，冬梅，你进来吧。你一下子把我的镜头全挡着了，咱俩千万别动，这个椅子不能动。你这个椅子也不要把我这个推翻掉。谢谢。还要发言你是吧？哦，那你跟最外面那个人换个座位嘛，你这样出去方便一点。对呀，那你站到边上去吧。不是，他个子高，他一站起来把我镜头挡着了。你们俩换一下。你还好，你没那么高。挡一点点没关系，但他一挡全挡住了。Yeah, great. Yeah, I have 3, but I don't want to carry it too much. Yeah, you are really professional.
No, because what happens when you do the night trip, sometimes you're not okay because the quality is not good.
Oh yeah.
And we do it again.
Yeah, you're right. This is a stream
Yeah,
already.
oh, that's a
But
stream?
Stream. This is a recorder. Yeah, yeah, great. 好，杨一出来了。
See, when I already stand up, I didn't see anything.
Good morning. Hey.
Great.
Well, good morning, friends. Thank you for being here today for the Northern Virginia Asian American or Pacific Islander Business and Education Leaders Forum. This month honors and recognizes the AAPI community. We are honored that our Governor Glenn Youngkin and our Secretary of Education, there are here with us. Let's get started. Introduce Amy Rockstar Guerrero, who was named Secretary of Education by Governor Glenn Youngkin in December 2021. In this cabinet position, she oversees education for people through post-secondary. With the firm belief that parents, students, and teachers need to be equally strong legs on the stream of academic success, Secretary Guerrero has always been engaged in the school. She believes that to improve student learning and outcomes, students, parents, educators, and policymakers should have the right information to guide their actions so that every student can excel. And the 74th Governor of Virginia, Glenn Youngkin, is a homegrown Virginian who grew up in Richmond and Virginia Beach. Under the leadership of Governor Youngkin in the last 5 months, in just 5 months, Virginia's economy, job creation, and business opportunities are beginning to flourish. governor has consistently reaffirmed the rights of parents in their children's education. He supports parents by bravely announcing eliminating the use of inherently divisive concepts in educational institutions and by raising the level of academic excellence. During his first 100 days in office, the governor has issued 17 executive actions and signed 700 bills. Please welcome Governor Glenn Would you like to say a few words?
So good morning, everybody. And all right, good morning, everybody. And again, thank you all for coming. Secretary Gadara, thank you for being here. Mr. Pruitt, thank you so much for emceeing today. We're going to keep our comments short because the purpose of this is to hear from all of you. And one of the things that is just such a foundational principle of our administration is that we have 8.6 million bosses, and our job is to listen to you. Thank you very much for your kind comments. I also want to wish everyone a blessed and happy Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. It gives us a chance to really recognize the fact that Virginia brings together cultures and people from all over the world. It makes us better. It makes our communities richer. And we have to celebrate that. I also recognize that the other side of that is occasionally we have just absolutely uncalled for and unacceptable reactions. Last year at this time, we saw hatred towards Asian Americans in Georgia. And we're not going to allow that in Virginia. We're just not going to allow it in Virginia. The first 100 days has been really exciting. And I think really when it comes to education, we have done a lot. We have a lot more to do, Madam Secretary. But I think that the cornerstone of this is recognizing the absolute rights of parents to make decisions in their children's education. We will never deviate from that commitment. We're working to raise expectations and standards in schools. We should be a commonwealth of excellence. And recognizing that we need to raise both the floor and the ceiling, not lower the ceiling. And we can do both. I was extremely pleased now, a week before last, to sign the Virginia Literacy Bill, which in fact did three big things. One, it enabled us to shine a light on the literacy challenge that we have in Virginia, data that's been available for a long time but has never really been disclosed. And I want to thank Secretary Gadara's Department of Education, who did such yeoman's work in identifying the fact that 42% of our second graders today, 42% of second graders in Virginia can't read at a proficient level and won't be able to without meaningful intervention. Second thing this bill does, which is hugely important, is equip teachers with a basic, comprehensive, uniform approach, the science of reading, across Virginia. So guess what? We know it works, and all Virginia teachers are going to use the science of reading to teach K through 3rd children to read. How about that? And finally, reading coaches. Reading coaches for children who read. This is a really important bill. And it gets back to the recognition that we should have expectations of excellence, that all Virginia children should be able to read at a proficient level. Third thing that I'm very excited about is the fact that as we head into this new school year, we in fact are going to see our Department of Education be able to partner with parents, to be able to offer new insights into how schools are doing. And this data approach is going to be the key to transparency and engagement across the Commonwealth. It also translates into innovation in schools. And we have to press forward with our lab school initiative in schools all over Virginia. I was so pleased a couple weeks ago. We signed an agreement with Google. Google is going to invest $300 million into Virginia as their next expansion and commitment to Virginia, but they also agreed to invest $250,000 in innovative lab schools in computer science. And so we have basically the foundational school in Richmond called Code RVA, and immediately we're going to begin to launch a network of computer science focused schools across the Commonwealth within the public school systems that are open to all Virginia kids. I mean, this is what's exciting about lab schools, is the innovation that brings together universities and colleges and community colleges, school boards, and of course business interests that can say this is the kind of curriculum and the kind of student we want educated in Virginia, because guess what? Not every Virginia kid is going to go to a 4-year college. Some may get a credential or a 2-year associate degree and stack their education over time. I'm really excited about the fact that our schools really are heading in the right direction. Thank you for your leadership, Secretary Gadara. You know, Virginia's open for business. And to see all of a sudden the big movements in companies wanting to come to Virginia, Boeing's announcement last week was so exciting to see them move their headquarters from Chicago to Virginia. But we're seeing it all over. We're seeing companies actually say, you know, Virginia has a great workforce. We have an education system that is just on the move. We have higher ed that we trust. We, in fact, see great lifestyle in Virginia. We want to move. And so I'm so excited about the interest in companies moving to Virginia, or the ones here expanding. But we have real work to do. We actually have to cut regulations and continue to recognize that an over-regulated business community will not thrive. And so I'm really pleased with the initiatives we've undertaken to cut 25% of job-killing regulations, cataloging them, and seeing duplicative regulations and moving them out of the way. I'm really pleased with the legislation that was passed and now signed in order to make sure small businesses don't pay taxes on the PPP loans. This is so important to recognize that small businesses had a difficult time during the pandemic. We've got to get them back. And finally, legislation that was passed to allow small businesses to come together in associations to offer health care at a much cheaper cost than they could on their own, if they could at all on their own. So we're going to continue to work to make Virginia the best place to live, work, raise a family, and start a business. Finally, I am very, very pleased with the way that we are working to make microphones work. I'm really pleased with the way that we're working together at a cabinet level and across government to make Virginia's government work for Virginians. I have to say, one of the places that two places that we've seen so much progress, but there's still more to do, is first the Virginia Employment Commission. We had a huge backlog of folks that couldn't even know what was happening. And we worked through the early backlog. There's still a huge number of cases that are in dispute. But early on, this idea of having best-in-class government has seen us work through the backlog in the Virginia Employment Commission. Boy, we were left a mess. And we've still got real work to do, but I'm so pleased that the initial efforts have resulted in reducing a big chunk of our backlog all the way down to 0. And the DMVs are seeing great improvement in waiting lines and times. We're seeing them open with the ability to have both walk-in and appointments. And I have to say, I'm extremely pleased with the efforts in order to make Virginia's government work for you all, as opposed to tell us what to do all the time. So, first 100 days has been, I think, very reaffirming that when we focus on achieving what we promised we would do, we, in a bipartisan way, can come together and deliver it. We still have a huge goal, though. We must get a budget out of our legislature. And right now, we continue to see it stalled. And I'm encouraging, particularly our Senate leadership, along with our House leadership, to send me a budget. A budget that will cut taxes. Never before have we been in a circumstance where we're going to see $14 billion of incremental money in the system than what we thought. Excess taxation has resulted in $14 billion more than we thought. 5 of it should go to cut taxes, 9 of it should invest in most important initiatives. Education, the largest education budget in the history of Virginia. To give teacher raises, to fund lab schools, to fund programs for students with special needs, to invest in school construction creatively with localities. We need to invest in law enforcement, raising salaries so that we can fill the ranks. We can invest in equipment. We can invest in training. We can invest in community programs that actually work to prevent crime before it happens. We need to invest in our behavioral and mental health systems. God, we have an absolute crisis going on right now. And we know it. We need to raise salaries, we need to invest in facilities, we need to provide Virginians help who need it most. So we can get this done. I just need a budget. I just need a budget. And I am waiting. I won't say I'm waiting patiently because I'm not patient. I think it should be delivered right now. And I hope that this gets done in the very, very near future. So, I want to thank everybody for coming today. I'm going to hand the microphone to Secretary Guerrero for a few comments. But let me also just explain the ground rules. The ground rules are this: that you all get to ask some questions and make some statements, and Sabrina's going to moderate. But I also get to ask you questions. Part of this is us hearing from you. If you think that your governor and your Secretary of Education have all the answers, you're wrong. We don't. We don't pretend to have them all. Many of these answers that form our platform and what we're doing came from you through sessions just like this. And so we just so look forward to this discussion and hearing from all of you about what our next set of priorities should look like. So Secretary Guerrero, over to you.
挡着人家镜头了，你挡着后面镜头了。
On the camera back here.
Thank you so much, Governor. Good morning. It's
应该
such
不
a
可以
delight
了
to be with you on this beautiful morning. And I'll keep this really quick because we do want to hear from you, hear your questions, and also hear your comments and your suggestions. But I want to harken back to what the governor said about Virginia being the best place to live, to work, and to raise a family. But we all know that for those two things to happen, Virginia has to be the best place to also learn, and learn at all levels, from early childhood all the way through post-secondary. And we also know, as the governor just said, these exciting announcements about leading international companies wanting to expand their footprint into Virginia is because they know of the incredible talent that exists in the state.